Hello and welcome to another episode of the Slasher Raptor Show. I'm Slasher Raptor. Today is July 30th, 2024. It's about 11:30 in the morning, and I'm on my way to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. But first, I have to make a pit stop to get some cash, so that's why I'm here at this bus stop waiting for the 902 bus, which will take me up the street there to the Nate area, where there's like a buy and sell like video game store. So if I have enough games in here, I can get enough cash to go see the movie, because I forgot that it came out like on Friday. I thought it was the next Friday. So I spent the money that would have been for the ticket. So now I gotta get more, and then we'll go see the movie. I do believe that is my bus. Yes. The 902 is one of the hardest to find buses, because it runs at a very infrequent schedule compared to the other buses that run along there. The 901 bus goes that way, but it doesn't turn here, which is why I had to wait for this guy. Okay, off the bus. So now the place I'm going is just that way. Now, if I was going home after this and not to the theaters, I would probably wait here and take that bus back the way I came. But we're not. So we're gonna go this way, and then we have to cut through the school there, go around, and then even farther past where the Nate station was, and should still be, but Edmonton Transit are idiots. Rather than just expanding the metro line to add Blatchford station, they removed the Nate station and then combined the new station that they built further down the line with the new one. So it's now Nate / Blatchford. But there's nothing at Blatchford Market yet. It's a new area that hasn't even really started developing. So there's nothing there that would make it like require a stop, because like almost everybody that gets off there needs to go to Nate and not there. Don't add an LRT stop for a thing that's not even finished being built. It's stupid. I don't understand why they would ever just not expand it. It makes so much more sense. Having that Nate stop was so convenient. It's not like a super long walk to get from the Blatchford station to Nate, but it's the fact that they changed it when it didn't need to be changed, and then they went and like changed tactics to make it seem like this was always their plan, saying that the Nate stop was a temporary stop. Now, a temporary thing isn't there for 7 years and then go away. That's not temporary, that's permanent. Temporary is like a couple of months, maybe a year, not 7 years. That thing's been there for as long as I've lived here and longer. And now they just double down and say, oh no, this was always our plan. We were always gonna take that one down. Idiots. Yeah, so here you go, Nexwave video games. 10402, whatever this is. I think, well, that's 104th Street there, but I'm not sure what this cross street is. Oh, it's 118 Avenue. Yeah, so if you're in the Nate area and you need to trade in some games, this should be the first place you come. But you have to get used to their kind of wonky hours, because they're not open like a normal place. Most days they don't open until like 11. So when you're doing these kind of trades, you often get the issue of it's a very common game, so they have more than they know what to do with and they won't take it. But I guess this particular time, he took them all. So I got 25, which is plenty with what I do have in my account, but that took a lot less time than I was thinking it would. So I can probably go browse around the Value Village or something just to kill time until I have to walk over and catch the LRT to City Center. Alright, well, I'm really cranky right now, and it's because I got on that train at 12:20, and then I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and then it just didn't move. It didn't take off. Had it moved at like 12:20 when I got on that train, I would have made this showing. I would have made it. And then by the time it finally actually started moving, it was it was like 12:30, half an hour before I needed to be in my seat. And there was like a couple of stops, and then of course it has to stop at every single stop, which is normal, but it seemed to be like intentionally waiting like an extra minute or 2 minutes at each of the stops. So eventually at Churchill Station I was like, screw this, I'm not waiting anymore. So I just got off, went up, and then realized I was in the wrong half of the mall, so I had to sprint through that mall, like dash across the street, and then get all the way up here in the right side of the mall, only to see that there was no lady behind the desk, and I had like 11 minutes left before the movie started, and I still had to get my nachos and my drink and get my ticket. So it was impossible. I tried to see if I could just sneak into the theater, but I didn't know which theater it was showing in. And probably because they've had this happen before, they aren't saying which movie is playing in which theater. So I would have had to play a guessing game, and by then they probably would have caught me already. So whatever, I'll come back at 4 after I'm calmed down, and I'll definitely make this one because I already have my ticket. I just need my nachos and my drink for that. All right, so had a nice hour and a half break, and now I'm out and about again on my way to the theater. And because I'm not in a rush this time, I can kind of sort of stop and smell the roses. Not a lot, but a little bit. Okay, back at the theater. I still got about half an hour to kill, but they did say that I can already go into the theater, and it's Theater 1, which we've been to before, so it's not a new addition to the list of theaters that we've been to in this particular one. I'm actually starting to lose track because it's been quite a while since I've been here specifically, since there's like no movies coming out. I do have time to kill, so I can't decide whether I want to get nachos or popcorn. Probably nachos, just because they're simpler and I think cheaper. But there's like nobody here, so it's like the perfect time to like be doing this. And I wouldn't have had time to do this if I had decided to just see the show at 1, because I was there like 6 minutes before showtime, and I hadn't even had my ticket yet. So I'm actually kind of glad that this happened. Okay, so out of the movie, and I really liked it. I loved how they broke the fourth wall in this one in particular, because they made a lot of references to him jumping from the Fox universe to this one, and because this takes place in Phase 5, which is part of the multiverse arc, it makes sense that they're jumping different dimensions, and it makes sense how they made like a joke about the void being a place where things nobody wants anymore are, and then they showed like the 20th Century Fox logo, and then almost every character from the Fox Marvel movies makes a cameo. Even Gambit, who for some reason was played by Channing Tatum, doing a really bad accent. I almost didn't recognize him, but he's got those eyes that I recognized, and I thought it was weird because like Taylor Kitcher, whoever it was that played Gambit in X-Men Origins Wolverines, I think should have come back, and they even brought back Elektra, but they also mentioned like a lot of other like dead characters that would have been there, and I just really liked the the style of it. Like it felt more like a Deadpool movie than the second one. The second one has its moments, absolutely, but it wasn't as good as the first one, and this one I think is a different kind of like vibe throughout the whole thing. It's more of a buddy comedy, but the buddies aren't buddies because they kind of hate each other, and like most of the best fights in the movie were actually between Deadpool and Wolverine. And it's like a pointless fight because they're both indestructible except for a few small things. And I liked how they, I like how they like made him literally jumping into the Marvel universe. And I liked how everything was done pretty seamlessly. And they brought back Peter, for some reason. I don't know why, because it was like his death was one of the funniest parts of the Deadpool 2. And him getting turned down from joining the Avengers by Happy Hogan was like funny, but also like why is it Hogan of all people? Like, if you're gonna have all these other cameos, like they even brought back Chris Evans, and I loved how everyone thought that it was Captain America, but because the void is full of the Fox characters, he actually ends up being the Human Torch. And it's funny because Deadpool's like, oh my god, he's gonna say it, expecting him to say Avengers Assemble, and instead he goes, Flame on! Which got a big laugh. And there was like a pacifist version of Deadpool in the Void who had this ridiculously ugly puppy, but like long, luxurious hair, and didn't have the facial deformations. And then he also didn't regenerate, but they didn't know that. So there's a part where his head gets exploded. That was pretty cool. I liked the antagonists. I think it was kind of weird how they aren't actually after him. The TVA aren't actually after him because of what he did at the end of Deadpool 2, even though that's kind of what everybody thought it would be. They were actually fine with that, but they want him to be like a tool in a master thing. And in what was very un-Deadpool, like he's like, no, I'm not gonna let you do that, even though it's like, whatever, you're in the Marvel universe now. It's like, are you really gonna go back to the other one? And so I'm not sure if we're actually gonna see much more of him in future MCUs. Like, we probably won't know more until 2026 and 2027, when the two Avengers movies that close off the multiverse thing were there. But yeah, I liked it. It was an interesting movie, and I liked what they did with Wolverine, because it led for a lot more character development and a lot of like really deep emotional moments that you wouldn't normally see from either of those two. So yeah, I'm quite a fan. It was R-rated, but it felt natural, and it was like, well, of course it has to be R-rated. You can't PG-13 Deadpool, and I thought for sure that that's what Disney was going to do, but they didn't, because they understood that that's part of the character. It's got all the same kind of naughty jokes and everything, and all the characters from the original Deadpool, the first two Deadpool movies are there, except for Weasel, which I'm glad for, because I found him insufferable and not funny. Whoever plays him, I'm drawing a blank on his name. I don't find him funny at all. I find him insufferable, whiny, and irritating. So the fact that he just isn't there, didn't even notice he wasn't there. And there's a lot of like just funny little moments that are more of a silly thing that felt more like a Guardians movie, except most of them were like a little bit higher up. And I liked what they did with the villains, because there's actually two. Like, there's like a hidden antagonist in Cassandra Nova who I loved. I thought she was awesome. She didn't have a lot of screen time, but like from this first second, I was hooked on her character, and found that her accent was like just very countering like her persona, because she's like just pure evil. But she has this posh British accent that makes her seem like she should be an ally, so that worked really well. And I also really like Mr. Paradox and how he was going behind the TVA's back, although I think it would have been better if he got more of a punishment than just getting like sent back. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. I definitely think this is the I don't know, actually, now that I'm like just coming off the movie, I would say that this is actually my favorite of the Deadpool movies. 2 is dead last, because like only certain scenes in Deadpool 2 are good, and it's not the whole movie. And then Deadpool 1 is good, but it's already kind of lost its luster with like so many reviewings and stuff, and I don't know. But I liked all the meta commentary, and I liked all the things like the references to like actual movies, and it was just really well done. I really liked the part where it was like the two of them versus like a bunch of Deadpools, especially with the lady Deadpool, because like you see like a shot of her from the back, like panning up from the legs, and I don't know who played her because we don't see her face, but it was funny that it's literally just Deadpool, but with like curves and hair growing out of the helmet and the suit. So that was kind of funny. And they had other ones, like they had references to other things in the comics, like all the different Deadpool variants that are probably in the comics that I've never read because I don't read the comics. And they even made a little reference to the fact that in the comics, Deadpool or Wolverine is supposed to be a tiny little guy, and that's one of the only things about Hugh Jackman as Wolverine that are wrong. But other than the fact that he's like a big, tall person, like he's awesome, and he looks exactly the same, just with a little bit more wrinkles on his face. And there's like a shirtless scene at the end, and it's like, good lord, that guy looks like he's 30 still. So yeah, I think I'm gonna give the movie an 8. Pretty solid movie. Not really a post-credit scene or mid-credit scene. If there was a post-credit scene, I got up before it, but there wasn't a scene. It was just like a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff from some of the other things that Fox did, like the X-Men movies and some of the others, and the Fantastic Four. But they specifically had Blade in there, played by Wesley Snipes, saying that there's not going to be another Blade, and then Deadpool looks at the screen and gives us like a little look, because we already know there's going to be a new one that's coming out next year. And I saw the trailer for Brave New World, and it actually looks really cool. I don't care for the Falcon as a character, but him as Captain America, I think has promise. The only issue is that he doesn't have the super strength or any of his powers. He's just a guy, but it might still end up being pretty grounded in reality, so that the people that he ends up fighting aren't like superhuman, like the ones that Captain America was fighting. But I like how he painted his wingsuit to match the Captain America like outfit, and I like how he's still using the wings while being Captain America, so it gives him a lot more mobility that Steve Rogers never had. So I'm actually kind of interested to see it, because it looks interesting. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and go see it. It comes out in February. I didn't catch a date, but I'm pretty sure they also put like a little splash image of Red Hulk, so that's interesting. Not sure what that is. It didn't really tell us much about the plot at all. But most of the MCU movies that are coming out in 2025, I'm pretty much going to go see all of them. I think we get 3 or 4, because I think there's Blade, the new Fantastic Four, and then Captain America. I think that's all of them. So yeah, I'm going to give Deadpool and Wolverine an 8. I really think you should go see it. It's pretty awesome, and got the perfect balance of heart, humor, and action. So yeah, that's all the time I have for this episode of Slash Raptor Show. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you right back here in the very near future for more cool stuff. Bye.